Greetings and welcome to the Contracting Guy. I am the Contracting Guy, and today I want to talk to you about services contracts. Now, I'm going to use the background of groundskeeping, but this can really apply to all services contracts. You know, the kind of contract somebody comes in, does something, whether it's housekeeping or whatever it might be. So a services contract. So let's kind of explore that. Thank you. When you're looking at, we'll look at this again, groundskeeping. Looking at groundskeeping, you're saying, well, I need mowing. Okay. And what else do you need? Well, I need edging. Edging about what? Oh, around the concrete areas, maybe around trees, wherever that might be required. All right. I also need to, let's say, part of my edging would be maybe weed whacking, kind of weed abatement, knocking down weeds. Okay, that's important as well. So you've got right now mowing, general spaces, edging, the border spaces, and then you're looking at weed whacking on those areas that maybe a mower doesn't get to, but you have to still cut them around trees, maybe around buildings, maybe around signage, whatever it might be. Okay. Well, what else would you perhaps consider as part of the groundskeeping piece? Well, how about let's say a grass growing on sidewalks, like in the cracks, or on streets where you have maybe cracks in the pavement, or along the edge of the pavement where the pavement and the gutter sits, that kind of, you know what I'm talking about. I know what you do. You do, really. Okay, you got that. So that, let's say you would take care of that. Maybe it may be a matter of groundskeeping would be, let's say, using a Roundup or a weed removal killer type thing, weed killer. All right, you got that. What else? Well, how about cleanup? Cleanup. You do the weed whacking and you do the edging and you do the mowing and you have debris, grass clippings, weed pieces, you have debris. Would you want them to clean that up? Probably. So you would have that included in the requirement. Okay. So you got cleanup in a variety of different areas. You might even describe that a little bit further. So you have that. Okay, so far you got that. Now, do you expect them to provide all the equipment? Well, yeah, I expect you to come in with your company and provide the equipment to do what you have to do. All right. What would you expect? Well, I expect the people to be trained in what they need to do, how they need to use the equipment, and then to use it responsibly and respectfully. Okay. How about when they're filling the equipment with fuel or oil? What would you expect? Well, I kind of want them to do that. Well, actually, I want them to do it in an area that has been designated for refueling or oil. You might want to put more oil in your weed whacker. Okay. You'd have to have some way of being able to protect the grounds from spillage. Makes sense. Same thing, perhaps, even with the filling of Roundup in your weed killer. Okay, you got that all taken care of. What else would you want? Well, I think I'd like to be able to know that the company I'm hiring has been bonded and insured in case of damage. Well, what do you mean? Well, if they do damage to something, let's say they drive over something with their machine and break something off. Well, okay, that damage may be required on that. How about if somebody gets injured on the property, one of their employees? Well, yeah, I'd want them to be insured, and they would identify us as an additional insured, but also they would be able to take care of their people. Okay, and have some sort of protocol as to how to take care of that in the event that something does occur. Okay, these are good things to know. Well, what else would you want? Well, I would want them to be easily identifiable on my property. So if they're going to be working here, I'm going to have to know who they are. Well, what does that mean? Well, it might mean special shirts. So I'd want them to be identified with a special shirt, identifying them as contractor employee. I might want, and probably not a bad idea, is to have a name tag that they would have. Now, it might not necessarily be visible, but it would be accessible. So they would be able to, I should be able to look out there and say, hey, this is Joe Smith. Here's his face on an ID card. This is a face on his real person. Okay. What else would you like? Well, I'd like to have some protocols that would be written as to how they intend to do business. How do they conduct their mowing? Maybe a periodicity as to when mowing will occur, what to do in the event of an emergency or requirement of that nature. What do they do? Have some sort of plan. If they bring equipment on here, is the equipment and their vehicles insured, and are they licensed? So you got licensing, you got bonding. If they've got hazardous material that they're going to use, that's probably fuel, they're probably weed eater, weed and feed, or whatever. They're going to do that. Okay. Well, I mentioned about weed and feed. Well, but they do also taking care of when they're mowing, making sure if there's a dead spot, put new grass down there, and also fertilizer. Probably a good idea if they're doing groundskeeping. Okay. What about we've talked about the shirts, but what if what if you want to keep something so that you can put your finger on stuff as you go along? Maybe like that protocol I mentioned, but also, I want to know who is supposed to be, in your employ, and also who should be here working. So whoever the lead person is for the day, they would provide information to us so that we know who is here today on property, and that I do not want to have people flying in and flying out that we are unaware of. And also, we want to make sure that those people coming in and out actually, should be here on property. So you're going to have some flow to that. This, which includes, list your vehicles that would be here. Your vehicles also should be, must be marked with your company's name. What's on there? Now, this sounds like, wow, that's a lot. They say, well, it is, because they're doing work for you. You want to protect yourself from any particular damage. You want to deal with the risk that goes along with it. And if they damage something, they have insurance to be able to cover that. So you want that to occur. And that's what they'll provide to you. Now, if you don't, keep in mind, if any of those items are not listed and something occurs, that's on you. It's not on them, it's on you, because you didn't identify it. So do that. Identify it, list it, and you have a good requirements list for the job that's at hand. Now, this again talking about groundskeeping could easily fit into housekeeping or to any other service industry that requires people and an outcome. I hope that's helpful. I'm the contracting guy. I'm out.
Thank you for watching The Contracting Guy. Please like, subscribe, and share the video. We'd appreciate that. This is The Contracting Guy. I'm out.